Hey guys, today I'm super excited to talk to you about The Iron Claw. This film hits theaters on December 22nd, and you guys, I walked into this having no idea what to expect. All I knew was this is a wrestling movie. Okay, I mean, I used to kind of watch wrestling like back in the Shawn Michaels Mr. Perfect days when I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11. I was just a little bit too young, and man, it feels really good to say I was too young. I was too young to know anything about these brothers, about the Von Erich brothers. I really maybe kind of sort of remember something about it, but not really. It was nothing that stuck with me because I'm going to say it again, guys, so young. Ooh, it's nice to be a part of that. But no, for real, I really just didn't know this story. So I went in not knowing that I was about to get my heart ripped out, stomped on, completely obliterated, devastating film. This movie is a devastating film. It's absolutely heartbreaking, and it feels so deeply personal at the same time. Now, again, I went into this not knowing the story. So I found out later that there was a brother that's not even included in this. You're like, as if this story couldn't get any worse, couldn't get any more just, I keep coming back to this word, but devastating, heartbreaking. There was someone else that's a part of this story that had, a horrible fate as well. But this story, I'll just tell you, the Iron Claw, it is so much more than a wrestling story. Yes, there's a lot of great wrestling scenes, which I really enjoyed. I actually had a lot of fun with them. I think the cinematography was great. The stunt work was great. It's just some really incredible raw moments in the ring, but there's a lot of incredible raw moments outside the ring. That's what really, really lifts this film up to being one of my favorite films of the year. A complete surprise. Now, it is about these brothers, the Von Erich brothers. Their father was a wrestler. His move was, you guessed it, the Iron Claw. And, he really forced his sons to try to, take over his mantle, okay? He was a horrible, awful person. And then in researching after watching the movie, it was like 1,000,000,000 times worse than we even saw in the movie, which is a completely, like, it blows my mind. I never ever, it's unfathomable that he could get any worse than he was. Some of the lines he delivered, man, especially towards the end, something he says to his wife, I was so mad. And it's such a simple line about what's for dinner tonight, And when you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, shut up. Like, how is this your concern right now? Get out. The wife should have left him long time ago. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This story tells the absolutely devastating story of these brothers, of this family. Apparently there's this thing like there's a curse surrounding them. And, well, it's like around every corner is just something more horrible. It's like a monster lurking around the corner, and you just don't know when it's going to hit or what exactly is going to happen. And that's kind of how I felt watching it. I really started to connect with the brothers. I really fell in love with them. I was like, man, Zac Efron crushes it as Kevin, the oldest surviving brother, I'll say. He's not the oldest brother, as he explains very early on. He had a older brother who died when he was like 5, I think it was 5 or 6. And so now he's kind of always wanting to protect his brothers, and that's kind of how it works with siblings. You can hate them, but you love them at the same time. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of bickering between all of them. Jeremy Allen White plays Carrie, who so good. The two of them together on screen are just electrifying. Like, there's this phone call towards the end that I was just watching and like tears, and then there's something that happened shortly after that when I went full on sob. But I was teary. I was starting to well up. I don't know that any had dropped yet, but then, man, when that certain thing just happened, it broke me. This movie broke my heart. And I'm a very sensitive person anyways. If you guys have been around my channel for a while, you know that I cry very easily. So this was, it was a hard movie to get through, a struggle to get through, but not in a bad way, in a very, very good way, because I fell in love with these people. Lily James is fantastic. She's Zac Efron, Kevin's love interest, and she's great. I absolutely love her in this movie. A lot of the lines she delivers, but the rest of the brothers are so phenomenal too. There's David and Michael, and you just fall in love with this family. There's something that the father, this is towards the beginning. It's not really a spoiler. The beginning, the father literally at the breakfast table, like, ranks his sons in order of favorite. And, the audience kind of let out like a nervous laughter. We're like, okay, that was weird. because you think like that has to be a joke, right? Like who's literally ranking their children? And oh no, he means it. And he's like, it can change at any time. And then it does change, and he's just an awful person, and I full on blame him for everything that happened in this tragedy. And that's the thing, like, it just kept getting worse and worse, and you're like, you can't make this stuff up. This is based on real life, and they even cut out something that was devastating and horrific that happened to this family, which is bananas to me. Like, it was actually worse than what we saw on screen. And I just absolutely think it's not just the actors. This ensemble, this cast is perfection. They're so good. You almost feel like sometimes you're watching something you shouldn't be watching. Do you know what I mean? You're like, it's like you're seeing these families' deep dark secrets and these personal moments, and you're like, I really shouldn't be watching this, because you forget that these are actors. You feel like you are watching this family go through some of the worst times of their life. And I, in particular, to the mother, I was like, oh no, like as a mom, I have 2 daughters, and I can't even imagine. And just watching her, you know, just try to put on her best face. But there's a moment when she just is crying, and Lily James' character comes in, and, you know, and she's just saying she can't put on this certain dress for this reason. And it just broke me. This movie is so good. Again, I was completely surprised. I didn't know what I was getting into. I was like, I'm gonna watch a wrestling movie. Cool. No, not cool. The cinematography is incredible. The score is incredible. The costume, hair, makeup, the set design, the story, the dialogue, the conversations that people are having, the acting. It is all fantastic. This is a devastating, completely, utterly devastating film. It is going to break your heart. It is going to rip your heart out. You are going to get mad. You are going to get angry. You are going to get sad. You are really, really going to feel for this family. And I just, like I said, leaving it and then researching what really happened and realizing it was this bad, it was actually worse, is like mind-blowing and upsetting. But I just gotta say, every single actor in this film absolutely crushed it. I loved this movie from, you know, it's one of my favorite films, and it's crazy because it is so, it hurt. It hurt me. It hurt me right in the heart. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. So much of it. I think the pacing was done so well. It never felt overly long. I felt like we got the whole story. And then it catches you up at the end of the real life story. And I highly recommend seeing this on the big screen. There's some moments, especially in the ring, that you just gotta see on the big screen. That's where the cinematography and the editing really, really, truly shines. But honestly, this movie, I have no notes on this movie. It's so good. There's not anything that I was upset about, except like I hated the dad and I was fully invested in the story. But like, that's not a bad thing, right? And I'm telling you, the actor who plays the dad, I'm like, he's going to have to work really hard in the next movie he's in when he's a nice guy. Because I'm going to be like, I hate you. I instantly don't like you. Go away. I hate you. So he's gonna have to work overtime to win me over next movie that he's in. But you guys, let me know if you're excited for the Iron Claw down below in the comments. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. You guys can follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and you can check me out at MamasGeeky.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.